Alright, time for another speech from a class. Let's see how this goes. Now, before this begins, I just want to apologize for any possible extra noise because as you can see, I'm somewhere new. This is my actual home, and that is because I had to come home from family issues. And yeah, so I'm at my normal home now, my usual home, and I'm apologizing ahead of time because there could be excess noise from the main street literally next to my home. So, sorry for that. Anyway, can't take too long on that one. I gotta get to my stuff. So let's get talking about Mesoamerican culture, primarily those of which near... Oh god, my English went away right there. Sorry about that. The area I want to focus on is the area where the Aztecs would have been, so in Central America area. And the first thing, and I primarily want to talk about the Aztecs just because personally I find them as more interesting than most other cultures that I've looked into. Now, one of the things you all probably know about the Aztecs were the blood sacrifices, like the cutting open the heart area, or stomach area would be better. I learned that on Mythbusters. And taking the heart out. Now, some of you may just think that they were sadistic and evil for doing this, but it was actually a ritual they did in their religion to save the planet. Now, if you're wondering why I'm holding a kitchen knife, that is because this is meant to be the representation of the sacrificial knife they would have used. But since I don't have any obsidian on me, let's just pretend this is it for now, okay? It's the best I got. Unless you wanted a full-fledged sword, but I don't feel like that would be appropriate, so kitchen knife it is. So anyway, as I was saying, the ritual of taking the heart out of the sacrifice was, well, it depends on the myth you want to talk about. Now, there's two that talk about the blood, like the blood sacrifice. The first one was part of the creation story, where four gods, and I'm going to butcher all of these, so I'm sorry to anyone who actually knows how to pronounce this, but if you can teach me, that'd be great. There's Huitzilopochtli, Quetzalcoatl, Texcatl, and... oh crap, I actually don't know the fourth one. Basically, his name means Our Lord the Flayed One, so... yeah. I don't know the real name, so we're just gonna ignore that. And basically, back then, the universe was literally just this primitive void over top of endless sea, which on top of that was the creature known as Cipactli. Basically, it's basically an eldritch creature that eats anything that the gods try and create. So in order to prevent that, the mass death of everything again and again and again, they kill Cipactli and repurpose its body as the continents. Now, Cipactli isn't dead, and it's very hungry, so the gods promise that they will give it blood sacrifices in order to keep it calm. So that's one myth as to why they did the blood sacrifices. The second is much more tame and simpler to explain, because this one is basically saying that Huitzilopochtli, a completely different myth about the completely different way he was created, requires the blood sacrifices in order to keep up his strength as our sun god. And every night, when night comes around, he is constantly attacked by his 400 plus siblings that try and kill him, which are the stars and the moon. And that's why we give him the blood sacrifice, so he stays strong, the earth doesn't die because of no sun. So, there, a little bit of information on why they did all these blood sacrifices. And also part of the reason I enjoy researching these people. The next thing that a lot of people probably don't know, or maybe they do, I don't know, it's just a fun fact for me, is the concept of gold. Now, no, this isn't real gold, this is pyrite, but for the sake of this, again, please just go with me and say it's gold, because this is technically fool's gold, so, Anyway, now, gold in the Aztec and every other Mesoamerican culture, this is worthless. This has no monetary value because their entire economy is trade-based. Like, I'll give you some silk for that chicken. That's basically what it was. Gold was only ever used to decorate, like, those feather caps that they had for their ritual dances and when they tell stories and stuff like that, or to create those golden statues that they would worship their gods at. It was the Spanish who screwed it up and made gold valuable, and pillaged all of Mesoamerica trying to get it. And if I could spend forever talking about the story of El Dorado, but I don't have, well, I could, but I don't want to waste more time than I have to. So, yeah, this had no real purpose other than being decorative. And so we move on to the final one, and I mentioned this just a minute ago, the idea of stories in Mesoamerican tradition. Now, it's not like the ancient Greek way of telling a story as through a play or as a legitimate story, like written down. The Mesoamericans, much like the Aboriginals of up here in Canada, they told their stories through song and dance. Now, I honestly only just figured this out that they even did that. I thought it was like, I don't know why, but I'm very primitive in my head, and I thought maybe they chiseled it on the wall or something, but apparently not. So, yeah, their stories were told very different from us. And, yeah, the song and dance. And also another interesting thing I found is that they're not specifically about, like, the idea of demigods, much like all of Greek literature, which is literally about... The primary plot of most Greek stories is Zeus has a kid with this random woman over centuries, because seriously, and that child grows up to be some great hero like Hercules or Perseus. Yeah, that's the other one. These stories from Mesoamerica are about the gods themselves, like the myths I mentioned on the first visual aid I had, the blood sacrifices. Like they told those kinds of stories so that everyone would know about the past. And yeah, that's sort of all that I really have my own information on these, because honestly, I don't know much. And I have so much other work I need to get done, I barely had time to do this. Thought papers are going to kill me. But anyway, yeah, that is my informative speech on Mesoamerican Aztec culture. I hope you enjoyed it, and please give me some good marks, because I need them to pass this class. But again, see ya!